Yo my people, welcome back to another whiteboard talk, to another video. So today's topic is going to be a couple rules, a couple tips on how to get the most out of your carbs for muscle gain and fat loss phases. So let's just jump right into it. So number one, we have greater capacity for output, mental ability, blah, blah, blah. So it's good to know that carbohydrates are our main fuel source, preferred fuel source for most people. So it's great for general day-to-day fitness pursuits, work, day-to-day functions. And also in terms of mental ability, it's really important to note that our main fuel source for our brain is glucose, so that comes from carbohydrates. So if you have an interview, if you have a final, an exam coming up, it's probably a wise choice to get some carbohydrates the night before or on the day of. I know some people say they get mental clarity and they kind of can think better from low carbs, but if that's you, fair enough. I can see why a personal trainer would give it to their client for like client buying and all that stuff that's a whole nother topic, but that's cool. But most people, I would argue, can just get that from a normal, well-balanced diet. So nah, is what it is. It's great for recovery. It also plays a role in getting good sleep too, and just in general growing big muscles, you know. And then number two, we have matching your carbohydrates to calories and your activity levels. So let's say, for example, on a certain day you've had more protein and fat, or maybe you just prefer protein and fat, you would naturally want to lower your carbohydrate intake to match the calories for that day, the caloric intake for that day, as obviously that's the real equation. That's like the top of the pyramid for what really happens over the day, week, month, whatever. If you lose weight, if you lose fat, or if you gain weight, if you gain muscle or gain fat, whatever. So leading on to that, we have activity levels. So if you're a person who trains like twice a day, if you're like an athlete, or you just in general train twice a day for something, I would probably increase your carbohydrate intake just to maintain that performance for both your workouts. Or even if you're training hard 6 days a week, even your off day, I would say maybe even keep your carbs the same, obviously relative to your caloric intake, to actually just potentiate recovery and just allow yourself to replenish on glycogen, replenish on your energy basically, so you're ready to smash the next day, smash that Monday, go back into the next week of training and really give you your best shot, especially the next day. Or even if you're on holiday and you're hiking in the Amazon rainforest, or actually I don't even, no. If you're, you know what I mean, then you want to obviously maybe think about increasing your carbohydrate intake, because your activity level is going to be quite high. You're going to be doing a lot of steps, a lot of activity. Whereas if you're kind of relaxed, if you're kind of on a inactive day, you're Netflix and chilling on a Sunday, then maybe you won't really need so much carbohydrates. So that's something to consider too. In terms of the carb types, so that's point number three. For most meals, you want it to consist of mainly veggies, fruits, and whole grain carbohydrates. So for most people, people into health and fitness, into training, you want to follow this kind of template. As one, it's going to be satiating, so it's great for fat loss, or if you just don't want to pig out and you want to stay in shape for the most part. And also it's going to help you maintain regular stools, let's say, because the fiber is going to be optimal, the fiber is going to be high from all these things. What I would say though, if you're trying to do the opposite, which would lead me into point number four, if you find it's too much and it's too filling and it's hard to get in, and you're trying to build muscle, or just trying to pack on the calories, it would be wiser to increase the processing of the carbohydrates. I know, I said it, increase the processing, but ultimately, if you're a lean guy, if you're a lean person, if you're training, if you're in shape, it's not gonna harm you. You're gonna be fine. You're not gonna die. Okay, so that could look like changing from brown rice to white rice. All in all, it just means you can get in more food. And typically with these things like white rice and more processed foods, you can it gets into the bloodstream quicker, digested quicker, and you're more likely to be hungrier. You're more likely to get hungrier quicker, rather than obviously having vegetables and very like high satiating foods, which is great if you want to obviously, like I said, pack on the calories and try to squeeze in more food. Obviously say that, but reducing the carbohydrates from vegetables and fruits, so that's another key point. So reducing that to make room for the increased processed food, essentially. Going back on my previous point, if you are trying to lose weight or lose fat, then you want to stick to mainly vegetables and fruits, and then some whole grain carbs. So overall, if you're trying to lose weight, it's going to be mainly veggies and fruits, some whole grain carbs. If you're maintenance, then it kind of evens out a little bit. And obviously if you're trying to put on weight, then increasing that process, that white rice, blah blah blah, etc., and then little less veggies, so forth. You're still gonna be regular, especially if you're eating a lot of food, so don't worry about that. Mainly just trying to pack on those calories, okay? And then lastly, I wanted to touch on a point, which is sugar is fine. Sugar is okay. Let me explain. So if you're getting your carbohydrates from veggies, fruits and whole grains, like, you're going to be okay. Like, sugar is not inherently bad for you. In fact, it's in your bloodstream. The main carbohydrate molecule is glucose. If it's anything else, you should probably go get that checked out. But yeah, so what is bad is if it's from tasty foods like cakes and biscuits and mad crazy nice cereals and these good things which are, you know, still good for the soul, I guess you could say. Well, obviously that's when it kind of becomes a bit more conflicted and it's not as great for you. But yeah, generally most things are broken down into sugar, like simple sugars, and using it for a lot of processes in the body. So all in all, you're gonna be fine, okay? It's just making sure you kind of reduce the kind of excess sugar, if that makes sense. So yeah, going back, the cakes, the biscuits, the sodas, the sweets, the chocolates, all that stuff. So that is the video. I hope that's helped in some sort of way. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like if you learned something from this today, and if you haven't subscribed, hit the bell notification for all these next upcoming videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.